Yeah, I don't want to go to jail for anything. I'm much too, weak.
And you're pretty. You are listening to the Stand Up Dads podcast.
This is hecka boring.
Yeah, it is.
Let's try again.
Hey, you're listening to Stand Up Dads. This is Rob.
And Mike.
And we have a special guest today, Josh Means.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Josh is a local comic. He's fucking involved in all sorts of crap in the Sacramento area. One of them, which we'll talk about in a bit, is verbal insults, which is like a roast battle thing, which is fucking hilarious. And
thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I would like to hear one.
And Josh is fucking hilarious without the verbal insults. So
that I have seen. Yeah, you're hilarious on stage, man.
Oh, thank you, guys. Can we do this for the whole hour?
No. The sucking Josh's dick portion of the show is done.
So, yeah, because I don't know. I don't know about you, but it's still. I feel like I have a lag sometimes of being able to answer because I'll just get distracted. Even when we're recording this in person.
Yes.
Like now, I got my cat attacking me. I know my daughter's going to walk out a few times and try to do, get to go on the iPad or eat crap that she's not supposed to because she knows I'm on here, she'll mime it to me, so I have to be like, oh, sure.
You can't tell because
that's good. If my son came in here while I was recording right now, you guys would be able to hear everything.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't mime anything.
Yeah. I mean, I edit it, but you can't tell how many times, I'll ask Mike a question, and he'll look up from his cell phone and go, what?
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about preparing your kid when you're going to be adding a sibling. Because, Josh, you just had a kid a couple months ago, right?
Yeah, he'll be 4 months on the 6th, on April 6th.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And before we go into that, we're going to do a short Corona thing because it's affecting all of us, obviously. But how's it affecting you, Josh?
I mean, it's pretty crazy. All the shows got canceled. I was literally supposed to be in New York right now doing some shows, and all those got canceled. So I got stuck at home. Not that I'm complaining, like you said. I got a newborn, so out of all the months in my life for me to be quarantined, when he's this young, that's pretty cool. But the rest of it fucking sucks.
Were you going to be doing the naked roast battle again this year?
I was hoping to. That's not till later.
That wasn't this one?
Yeah, I did a naked roast battle last year as part of a festival. I'm definitely going to apply. That was a memorable moment for sure.
Yeah, it takes.
But no, I was just gonna head out there, do some shows. I met some people at the festival, and they were gonna throw me on some shows. Yeah. So it was gonna work out great. I was trying to take advantage of the coronavirus. I got a flight for literally $57. It was I had to take it. All my plans have gotten canceled, and now I'm finally doing this podcast. We've been trying to do this
for
since
months
before I even knew I had another kid on the way.
I know. Well, I'm glad we finally got it to work because you're a fucking moving target, man. It's hard to get you. But yeah, I mean, it takes balls to do a roast battle, but you fucking went up and did it naked. So hats off to you, man.
Yeah. That was. Yeah. Well, see, what happened was the year before, in 2018, me and my wife went to this comedy festival, Skankfest, just as fans. And one of the shows they put on is a naked roast battle. And almost all of the people in there, it's either the most disgusting people you have ever seen in your entire life or a semi-attractive chick. And it's the best. I mean, you get the best of both worlds. But when I was there, we were watching it. You see all these fat slobs, and they got the tiniest penises.
Hey, I'm right here, man.
Just picture your mirror, and it's like that.
Exactly. No, I've got the picture in my head.
I was watching those battles, and also I do roast battles, so that's my favorite thing to do most of the time is the roast battle. So I'm I could do this. I got a better body than these guys. Not that mine's great, but it's a lot better than what they got going on.
You're going to look like super hot up there. You're like, I'm the hottest comic here.
Exactly. And then I fucking 2 months before I break a tooth. Now I'm toothless doing it. So that already brings me a couple points down. And then they put me up against this great New York comic who's also a pretty good looking guy. He's just like taller than me, better looking than me, better at stand-up. I was like, what the fuck? They set me up for failure. Give me one of those fat slobs. or one of the attractive chicks so I'm not shrinking up here. It was so cold in that room.
Yeah, give you some, yeah.
Everybody,
hilarious.
Also, I got screwed because our battle was the second to last battle, but everybody that battled that night went into like the green room and everybody started getting naked like as the show was starting.
Oh, wow.
Not like right before their battles, but as the show was starting. None of the other people could see us.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it's just the comics that were getting naked. And they said no phones. If anybody used their phone, they got kicked out of the whole festival. And they do it on the first night, so like you don't want to miss Saturday, Sunday. So
sure. Which is good.
Like they make it a huge deal. They have a bunch of security guards, and then Ari Shaffir came out and did an intro and said, like, you know, everybody's always so caught up in their phones. Nobody just lives in the moment anymore. So, like, let's all just live in this moment. This show's only going to happen tonight for you people. So, like, that kind of already sets the tone good for the comics so that they feel comfortable getting naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those comics felt way too comfortable because they got naked right away. And I was the only one with my clothes still on, and I was like, fuck, all right, I'll get naked too. So I get naked, but then I'm just sitting there cold as shit while 4 other battles happen. And then I'm like trying to stay warm just so I have
something.
My guy at full capacity.
So it's the only comedy show in the world that needs a fluffer.
Yeah, exactly.
But
maybe one day I'll be famous enough to have a fluffer. But I think if I'm famous enough to have a fluffer, I don't need to be subjecting myself to get naked on stage.
This is true. Do you think Paul would ever let you do a naked roast at Blacktop?
Paul, I don't think he would. I also don't know if it's legal in California.
Oh.
I don't know if it's really legal in New York. It seems weird.
I don't need to see Al naked. I don't need to see you naked either, but...
Yeah, no. No, it's not great. I don't want to see any of the Sacramento comedians naked.
Was there anybody that was, like, extra weird about it? Like, they got naked and then just started, like, talking to you and stuff? Like, hey, man, how you doing? Like, you're like, just leave me alone.
No, not really. Because everybody was kind of, like, just keeping to themselves. Everybody also was, like, going over their jokes. And, like, roast battles are nerve-wracking enough because you're telling jokes that you've never told before, for the most part. And you don't want to go up there with your phone because then you look like an amateur when it's on a stage like that.
Yep.
And so you're just trying to, like, really hammer down these jokes. You're not really, like, nobody was really paying attention to anybody else. But the battle before me was a trans woman who hadn't had her bottom surgery yet.
Okay.
And had her piece tucked between her legs. And that was the first time I've ever seen that from behind.
Because we've all done it in the mirror ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. We've all done it.
Of course.
We've all seen our friends do it, but we've never... They bring it back out. We never see it from behind. And it was the first time I've ever seen a human with a tail.
Well, good for them for being able to tuck it back to where it looked like a tail.
But she killed it because she was one of the funniest people. She had a joke that is now like slipping my head, slipping my brain. But when she said it, she said that the other guy was mad because that his dick wasn't this big, and she let hers flop out, and it was double his size. He brought the house down.
I bet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Is it just seems like such a weapon to be able to just let that fall out, like while someone's really like on a roll and go like, oh god, you know?
Yeah, it really was.
Awesome.
Like
bam, here it is again. Shit.
It was like kind of a back and forth battle, and then she dropped the haymaker that knocked him down.
Nice. Well, okay, so you got
That's amazing.
You got verbal insults over at Blacktop, and I know everything's been canceled.
Yeah, honestly now, like I feel like your guys' bad dad is just going to be this, like what I just said on your podcast.
Not at all. Oh, you're a saint compared to these fucking clowns.
Oh my God, yeah.
Although Mike and I have each been bad dads at one time or another, but I mean on the show.
Oh my God! Right now, because of the quarantine, I mean, I was just talking.
Oh, I bet those are worse dads right now.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, even there'll be times where it's like I feel like we're working on stuff, or having a good time, and then I'm just freaking like I'm on edge. I'm just like angry out of nowhere. So I feel like I'm apologizing the whole day where it's like, oh, let's do this art. And then out of nowhere, come on, like,
yeah.
And I work from home to begin with. So I wouldn't have expected it to affect me this much, but it is definitely making me like crazy. Like,
well, they're normally like at school though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. So that makes it harder too, because I already tend to think like I'm a failure. So I'm trying to be like as best I can, but then trying to also homeschool at the same time. And our school is kind of behind. Like they've really only done like one Zoom meeting so far, and they're like planning to start teaching after spring break. And I'm like, hurry up.
Yeah.
Like you're fucking killing me. Like help me something where she'll listen to you, Like, yeah, it's been hard, man. But we've been watching a lot of shows and doing some art, making dumb videos, like whatever we can do to just have fun, But
yeah, that's good. You gotta stay occupied right now.
Yeah, my wife and I are starting to drive each other fucking nuts. So I expect that you're gonna have a big boom of kids or divorces or both in about 9 months.
Yeah, I think both for sure.
Yeah. So how's it going? Well, I mean, like you said, it's kind of nice because you get to spend some time with a 4-month-old.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. That first week when like all the schools were canceled, we had our 2 boys and then our 2 nephews, and that was rough. But my wife did great. She ran it like a school. They had a schedule. She printed out lessons. They had like some playtime. So like that was pretty good. And then now we don't. The 2 boys are staying with their parents now, so we're still kind of trying to keep him on that schedule. Like he's not going to school, but he's still getting some lessons in. They're actually doing math right now while I record this.
Nice.
But
glad to offer you an out.
I mean, yeah, no, I was like, please let me. Anything. I'm trying to find reasons to go to the bank and the grocery store. I forgot to get something just to run back to the grocery store.
It's like a Louis C.K. bit where he threw all the toilet paper out so he'd have a reason to go out and get more.
Yeah. I literally almost said toilet paper as like a joke, and then I was like, well, that's literally somebody else's joke, and there's no toilet paper. I can't find toilet paper anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
So the socks are getting washed extra this week.
My baby uses cloth diapers. We're using all his wipes.
Ooh, wow.
He's got the reusable wipes. Those get washed. Perfect.
Yeah, you guys are hardcore.
We actually had toilet paper.
Yeah.
What do you say?
No, that's hardcore, though, the whole cloth diaper. We tried for like a day, and we're like, yeah, I know, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
We did that with Olivia. It worked. Yeah, it was a lot of work, though. But yeah.
Yeah, it works great. If it was me doing all the washing, it wouldn't happen at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was still married at the time, and there's no way, like, that's higher level thinking, where you're like gonna go and make it where it's gonna work better for the environment and maybe work better for them. But if it came down to me having to do it, yeah, it would be right away like, no. Why don't I just try to keep the child alive rather than give them a better version of diaper?
That was my wife's
really
thing.
Did work good. Yeah.
It was all for the environment. I was like, we could just like throw it away and not have to wash them. But it's working great, and it's honestly not that difficult. She's got a nice system set up.
So you had a son already. And how old was he
He'll
when
be
you guys...
7.
Okay. So
he'll be 7 next month.
Okay, so he was about 6 when you guys found out, or about there?
Yeah, it was about a year ago, right around this time. It was in April that we found out. I don't remember the exact date.
Sure.
But
so what did you guys do to prep him for, I mean, did you guys even make a big deal out of it to get him ready for his new brother?
Yeah, we took him to like most of our like the sonograms, and we told him what was happening. So like we let him see on when they're doing the sonogram, we let him see like, hey, this is going to be your baby brother or sister. We just told him right away, basically, like, you're going to be a big brother. Like, how would you feel about being a big brother? We were just so happy when we found out that, like, we didn't even really, like, think too much. We, like, discussed it. Yeah, like, should we tell him right away? What should we do? But then it was just, like, we couldn't hide it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we told him, and then we let him come to most of the appointments. Like, anytime he could go, he went with us, and he was pretty excited from, maybe not right away, but once he started to like see the belly grow and realize it was like what was happening, he was excited.
Very cool. So
that's cool.
Did the attitude change once he was born, or like did anything change with him once the baby came out?
Yeah, I don't know if his attitude really changed, because I think he was excited, but he's been a really good big brother. You know, he'll always take care of him when he's crying. He's like, Mom, maybe we should like sing him a Rockabye Baby song or something.
Very cool.
Like,
wow.
He looks out for his little brother, so that's good.
Very nice. I can't picture mine doing that, and he's the same age as yours. Shut him up.
Yeah. I mean, the crying does get to him sometimes, you know what I mean? When he won't stop, and my son's trying to watch a movie or playing something, he'll be like, guys, that's why he's like, can you sing him a song? Let's do something here.
Well, that changes it completely. The first way he said it was like, oh, how sweet. And then saying it that way sounds like, hey, why don't you sing him a song? Yeah.
He'll say it both ways. I mean,
well, honestly,
sometimes it's sweet, sometimes it's to quiet him down.
Well, honestly, it's not much different than me parenting, because there's times where it's like, oh, it's okay. And then there's times like, could you please shut him the fuck up? So he'll be a good dad. Would you have any advice for people bringing on a new kid with an existing kid?
I would say tell the older kid, or tell your son, daughter, whatever, as early as possible, and explain to them, you know, you don't have to tell them how babies are made, but don't give them the stork stories. Let them know that it's like you can make humans. They come from moms. Like, I don't know, maybe I should have had my wife on this podcast.
They're always better at this, yeah.
Cool. Well, I looked up on a few different sites about how to prep your kid for a new sibling.
I don't think you can, like, necessarily fully ever prep them, but
sure,
you can put them in a great position to, you know, not just be freaked out when there is somebody else living in their room, by the way. Like, because our sons share a room. I mean, the baby's mostly sleeping with us still, but we changed his room around almost instantly. Like, we found out in April last year, his room had a crib in it by like June at the latest.
Got it.
So just kind of prepping him like, hey, this is going to be in here. He sees that crib every day. He knows the baby's coming. sees his mom belly getting bigger, her getting sick or complaining about cramps, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's just part of his life so that he gets ready. I would expose him to it. Try not to hide it from him.
Yeah, very cool. Well, yeah, like I said, I was looking online and they, just looking for advice. And first thing they said is just like you said it, give them, as soon as you know, let them know as soon as possible so you can prep them for it. They talk about,
but
yeah.
If you're going to do that, you want to make sure that you also plan on telling everybody else, because
no
my
secrets.
son is a snitch. He told my mom, like that night, honestly, I think it was that night we told him. We were like, we went somewhere and we told him, like, hey, like, let's just keep it a secret for right now. And then he was like, yeah, my mom's going to have a baby. Like, I'm going to have a little brother or sister. My mom was like, what?
That's awesome. The way we told my mom and dad, we printed out a picture of the sonogram with the baby in it. And because my mom and dad, my daughter's the only grandchild, and I have an older brother, older sister, so they had given up hope. And I actually thought, at the time we couldn't have kids, so we gave it to them as like, Mike made you this, made you a new, like a work of art, and we gave him this framed thing, and my mom opens it. My mom's like, oh my God, all super happy. But she gives it to my dad, and my dad, we're like filming it. My dad's looking at it, and you could see his face is like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is a shitty piece of art. Finally, my mom's like, that is a picture of a baby. They're having a baby. He's like, oh, okay, cool. But the whole time he's looking at it, you could see he's like, God damn, fucking kid.
Yeah.
That'd
be funny if he doubled down. She's like, that's a baby. He's like, it's an ugly baby.
This is some shitty photography, man.
Yeah. When we told, like, my son snitched to my mom, but when we told my wife's family, we showed up at her grandma's house with the picture of a sonogram, and he was wearing a shirt under his jacket, and then on that shirt it has like a little dinosaur next to an egg, and it says, I'm going to be a big brother.
Aww.
And so we're like, let's show him all your jacket. And he pulled the jacket down, and they were all like, oh my God.
Awesome.
At first we went to show him the jacket, and like there was maybe like 6 people in the room, and like 4 of them were having a side conversation, like still trying to finish up the last conversation. And then like 2 of them started freaking out that the other 4 were like, what the fuck is going on?
That's usually hilarious. How life is.
Yeah, that's fun. That's one of the most fun parts about the pregnancy is like revealing to people, is you're going to have one, and then people love the gender reveals.
No, they don't. Did you see the latest one? I guess there was a lady that, I guess she had a friend pack powder in her butt, and she like filmed herself, and she's like naked on the floor. Well, her pants are off, and she farts, and like blue powder came out. So there's a trend for you. But
that's good.
Awesome.
So what happens when the brown powder comes out?
I think that's a miscarriage.
Yeah. I wanted you to that would have been funny where it's like, oh, that one was too wet. Hold on.
Yeah. The powder
hold on.
just comes
Let's
out
try
as
it again,
paste.
but I gotta go wipe.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, anyway,
Damn.
back to the whole thing, the article thing. It sounds like you nailed it, because they're saying, get the kids involved in the process, which you did, which is awesome about, the sonograms and stuff. They're quick about don't oversell the new baby. Like, it's going to be great. No, it's going to suck.
Yeah, we told them that too.
Exactly.
Like, hey, babies cry, but they're cute. Look at this little sock. Just trying to find anything we can.
Yeah, as a big fat guy, nothing makes you feel bigger and fatter than folding your little kid's clothes.
Yeah, oh my God.
It's like,
when you try to fold it and it doesn't even like fold because it's so small.
Exactly.
Like, wait, what?
It's like folding a Post-it note more than 4 times. Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
But they talk about regression. I guess some kids will regress, like they'll start doing something that they hadn't done for years, like piss in the bed or whatever. Just be ready for it. And then, like you know, they're talking about giving your kids jobs. You know, like if they're really little, it's like, hey, go get me a diaper, go get me that. You know, not to the point where they're raising your fucking kid, but
yeah,
that happens with that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Hey, feed the kid, watch him. I'll be back in 2 hours.
Daddy's got a show.
Yeah.
Those seem to be like when there's families that have a lot of kids and the oldest ends up doing that. That's always the person that ends up later when you find out, where people are just like, yeah, I'm cool not having kids.
Yeah.
You always can just basically ask them, like, were you the oldest and like taking care of your other kids? Yes.
I raised all my siblings.
Oh, really? That was me, and I was the opposite.
Wow.
Well, I took care of my brother. I like barely changed his diaper when I was younger, but like I definitely took care of my younger brother a lot growing up. And
how much older
so
were you?
I was 8 years older.
Okay.
So I was always super excited to like have my own kid. I felt like I'd be good at it. Felt like I was ready, you know?
So you're a better person than I am, because I never wanted one.
I know. I'm like, dang. So not, yeah. Luckily, unfortunately, he's married, ladies. I'm like, and now for today's like golden dad, the rare unicorn dad, we have Josh.
Oh, no.
See,
Stop it.
that's going to bring us to the bad dad. So I'll post a link to the articles, which, you know, they actually are helpful. But Josh pretty much nailed it, so good for him.
Okay,
Fucking dick.
so before we do the bad dad, Josh, just to let you know that Robert generally does the bad dad, and he picks such a horrible article that it generally ruins everything we've been laughing about, and then we end up going into like the plugs, like super sad.
Hey.
So you might want to like plug your stuff now so people will be excited to go, because then he's going to bring up something so horrible that we're going to end up going, and now please write us at stand-up day.
I bypassed a bad one.
You don't want to like really end on a bad note and then be like, you can find me and send me hateful emails at standupdadpod@gmail.com.
Yep. Yeah. Well, so like I said,
you have to get like the worst of the worst dads to like for your bad dad segments, because bad dads are like people who just, you know, leave the family, whatever. But
Sure.
then those are the kids that always end up in the NBA somehow.
Sure. We had a clip of
So how bad of a dad is that really?
It's true. Then we had a clip.
Oh my God, that's like that old song, "Boy Named Sue." Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah.
It was yeah. What is
No.
it? It's
Really?
Johnny Cash, and the words are by. Do you know who Shel Silverstein was? The guy who did all like Where the Sidewalk Ends and
The
stuff.
Giving Tree.
Yeah.
But oh God, you gotta hear that song, dude. The Boy Named Sue is about a dad who leaves his son, but before he leaves, he names him Sue. So he ends up growing up like super tough and having to fight everyone because he's named Sue. And then basically that's the whole thing of the thing, is that he's like, you know, you may hate me, but you got to thank me for the gravel in the gut and the spit in your eye, because I'm the son of a bitch who named you Sue. And then he's all, and they like, happy at the end.
So
I guess that's probably true. Yeah, you make them tough if you just leave.
Well, we used
Yeah, exactly.
we used a clip of I can't remember the name of the comic, but where, you know, he was talking about how, you know, happy, stable relationships lead to unsuccessful kids. So he was talking about,
Wow.
my kid's just shitty at basketball, so I got to leave him so he'll get better in practice. But
That's
I
awesome.
don't know. But we've established, I set up the bad dad segment just to make myself feel better about being a shitty dad sometimes, most times.
Hang on. You said that stable relationships lead to
Not
shittier kid, unsuccessful kid.
well,
I think complacent kids probably.
yeah, exactly, because they don't they don't know what it's like to.
Oh, then your kid's gonna turn out great, Mike.
Yep, she's gonna be like, "Oh, I can handle this."
Oh, she is going to turn out great.
I lived with a bipolar son of a bitch.
So anyway, I avoided the really horrible one. I just should I even read the title of the one we're not going to use?
I mean,
yeah,
that's up to you.
Why not? Why not?
Okay, so
yeah,
we
can see how bad that we're trying to like fix Robert's decision making on these. So what's the one we were gonna do?
So I don't know where we can find. Hi, buddy. Good night.
Oh, you're not going to say it now.
Yeah.
He just stepped out. I don't even know what he said.
Hold on, Owen.
Hold on, Owen.
Wait, see, this is a good moment for you to also homeschool. Ask him to read it. Then he can.
Yeah, do the popcorn reading. You start. He'll do the next sentence.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to go into it, but just the fact that this exists, and I'm somewhat bypassing it. Arkansas father accused of raping his son to death with a stick made 6-year-old sleep in a dog cage.
That one you should have initially, like right away, just pass that one up. And when you're looking up articles,
but it gets better.
Sticks are all they have in Arkansas.
He didn't like go incest on him.
Oh, you're looking for the bright side.
Yeah. And then he made a 6-year-old sleep in a dog cage and pulled the kid's teeth out with pliers. So.
Oh my God.
We are all wonderful dads.
You just read the article.
No, I didn't. That was just the headline.
Is your son still in the room?
No.
He's all. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, that's not how you put that together.
If I was going to read it when he was in the room, I may as well have him read it. So anyway, instead of that, what I found was an article which is going to be Mike when his daughter's in college.
What is it?
This guy should be your hero. His name's Lawrence Ray. Man accused of abusing his daughter's university roommates has been arrested in the U.S. and charged with extortion, sex trafficking, and forced labor. So this dude, his daughter was at Sarah Lawrence College, and apparently he got out of jail. So I don't know what he was in jail for, but he moved into
already sounds like me.
Even the college sounds like somebody he slept with.
Yeah, exactly. So he moved into her dorm and then started like befriending her friends. And let's see.
Started taking classes.
No classes, but Mr. Ray moved into his daughter's dormitory where prosecutors say he presented himself as a father figure and began conducting therapy sessions. So he would learn all this intimate shit about her friends and then like use that against him and like blackmail him. So he like extorted like $1 million over 10 years.
Jesus Christ.
And
10 years he got away with it? And
well,
why? How is the university not finding like this old man in the door?
I don't fucking know.
How long is his daughter in college?
I was just going to say. I think that's where it started, and then he started moving it around. But then, so he was pimping some of these girls out. Like from one woman, he got like $500,000 just from one girl, and then forced her into prostitution and all this crap. So I don't know. Make sure your daughter gets into a good college.
I value like how much you think, how highly you think of me.
It's like, hey,
I've known you since first grade, and this is where you're headed. This is where you're.
I don't think Mike could extort $1,000.
He'd end up losing.
Like, give me the money. Oh, all right. How am I paying for this? Yeah, it would be like Orangevale man ends up extorted by women. That's hilarious.
How sad. So you're going to be on one side or the other of that coin. But
yeah, it's going to be one way or the other. You have no other pathway unless I die from the virus. I'm like set up for this, to die from that virus for sure.
Yeah.
I get pneumonia like super easy. So I'm also waiting on that.
Ladies.
I know.
So speaking of the virus, Josh, is there a way, are you guys still doing any verbal insult stuff while the comedy clubs are closed?
We're literally just talking about it yesterday. We're going to try to do something online. Me and Al, we're going to meet this weekend and try to see what we can figure out. We'll probably end up doing like a podcast where we play our past roast battles.
Yep.
And kind of do commentary over it, discuss them, whatever, and have like a little best of segment.
Cool. But
right now, we've tried, asked a couple people about possibly doing like a Twitch or Zoom roast battle, but I don't know how well it would actually work out. Like the roast battles just feed off that energy in the crowd. Like that needs to be a live event. So totally I don't know. So we're probably going to do a podcast form of it just so that we can still be putting out shows, because it's my favorite show to do. It's unlike any other show in Northern California right now.
You guys do a good job.
It's so fun.
You got anything to plug?
Yeah, I mean, all my shows have been canceled.
Yep.
But when we're back on schedule, Verbal Insults is the first Friday of every month at Blacktop. And then I'll be doing stand-up again, hopefully. You can follow my social media at jmeans, JMEANZ, and at Verbal Insults on Instagram and Facebook.
Cool.
That's about it.
Email us, thestandupdads@gmail.com. Let us know how things are going, wherever you're at with all the quarantine stuff. And I don't know, because we had a guy here from Japan telling us about how they locked down a few weeks ahead of us, and kind of gave us a nice little insight as to what to expect going forward. But unfortunately, our leaders are too stupid to do it right. But
I know, man.
If you need artwork,
you can go to Pencil for Hire on Instagram. That's Pencil FOR Hire, or pencilforhire.com.
Right now, if you're in quarantine and you got nothing to do, now's no better time than now to get Doug's book, graphic novel, Eye of Mongambo. There'll be a link in there. Get it on there. It's only like $12, and it's a hilarious read. Check it out and get my side project, Gag on This Podcast. That's run by Big Nick. Usually we do it at Blacktop, but they're not allowing audiences, so we're kind of phoning it in right now, but it's still happening. Give it a listen. We interview local comics, have a great time doing it. Josh has been on there a couple times, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that was like our last in-person one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Josh,
we'll have to do another one of these in person when everything settles down.
Definitely.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, cool. Well, Josh.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks, man.
I really appreciate
definitely.
It. And we will talk to you guys next week.
The thing I want to say is thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.